4.
Hey, this is Oni here with 3 tribesmen. We miss you guys. It's been a minute. Been a long time, actually. But I'm here with my co-host, my host as well, but co-host. I'm here with my boy Ike.
Yo, yo.
Yes, sir. And then I'm here with my boy Timmy Teo.
The only Nigerian man on this show. I represent you. So, fellas?
What's good? What's good? How y'all been?
Good, man. Good, man. I'm glad to be here. Glad we finally getting started again. So, this is like therapy for me sometimes, It's a good time to get together with my brothers and just talk about different stuff, so.
Facts. Big time. What about you, bro?
Happy to get it, man. This is going to be a good season. I feel like we're going to evolve this season. So, a lot of our shows and episodes are going to have, like, the unexpected people that you're not expecting, and then boom. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. It's gonna be amazing year.
Controversial.
We're gonna start with some topics that's gonna for sure it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. It might make people smile and laugh also. But topic here. This is from you guys. This is from you guys. It's not from us. Trust me. We tried hard to stay away from this topic. But why are American women so attracted to African men? I can talk on it.
You ain't even got to say American women. Why
is the world?
People from outside of the African tribe attracted to African men?
Speak on it.
I mean, it's something. I wish we had a woman here that can speak on this particularly and tell us why.
This would be a perfect episode for
I can only guess and say why, right? It's like we dominate anything we do. Like there's something very desirable about African men. I think it's got to be, we just got the swag to us, man. We also got culture with us. We're not just black, I mean, that's what I think.
Yeah, I think that people, like you said, I think culture is key too. I think people, like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I get to experience and learn a new culture or see different things, I'm intrigued by it. So I think sometimes, hey, we get a black man with culture, like a different culture that I'm not used to. So it's a combination of two. Exactly. It's a combination of both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's has something to do with it.
It also helps that a lot of famous people, whatever industry it is, be it sports, be it TV entertainment, be it movies, we can even name names, are from like Nigeria, Ghana. I mean, that has to do something with it also. Most of the music we listen to today, like Afro beats, a lot of our artists are from our country. That gives a little spice to it.
I think it's a little. I don't know. I'm gonna go there. If nobody gonna go there, I'm gonna go there.
But before you go there, let me include something before you go there, because I know where you go. I know where you're going with
He's about
this.
to start something.
I think a large part of it has to do with music too, right? So I think that the popularity of it, right? Because sometimes it's like almost trendy, almost, right? It's like the popularity of it has grown so much, and people are now exposed to it. And they're like, "Oh, this is cool. This
wasn't always like
amazing."
that.
It wasn't always like that.
So
exactly. So
booty scratchers.
when the music wasn't there, what were we? African booty scratcher.
Everybody know what
we
we were. We weren't that.
But sorry to cut you off, Og. I know where you're gonna go, so I just wanted to bring that tab in because it's gonna be a long conversation.
This topic can go a million ways. So I believe,
I
believe that it can go. I believe that we are a walking lottery ticket right now because of culture. Women love to be around men that can teach them something different. Mm-hmm. Of course, being African is different. It's outside of a lot of people's norm. And then the way we cater and treat and talk to our women goes a long way. Be it, I'm Nigerian, so be it if you're speaking to your woman in Igbo, speaking to your woman in Yoruba, Hausa, whatever language that may be, it just comes off different. You understand what I'm saying? And we open doors, we pay for dinner, we pay for everything. We probably started tricking. I think tricking started from an African man.
For you brothers in Atlanta, you see what you don't start. You see what you don't start. You Atlanta men, the way you be tricking with this woman in Atlanta, you got these people talking about me a Nigerian man too. You wonder why.
Yeah.
Atlanta got it bad. Like Usher said, man, they got it bad out there with the tricking, man. That's all it is, man.
And they be doing it too, though.
I think that's what it is. I think it's something different, and it's a good different. It's a different that feels different. Mm-hmm. It's a feeling that you haven't gotten before. It's him being a manly man. I know America right now, we're in a time where a lot of men are becoming
Fitty.
very feminine
Yeah.
right now.
Fitty
I'm
too.
not sure what is in the water right now, but a lot of men, and I'm not saying all, my brothers know, if the shoe fit, wear it. But no, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about, but there are a lot of men that are out here moving in a way that isn't conducive to manly men.
How they would want their
You
man.
understand?
Yeah.
And I think that plays a big part in it.
Because one thing African men is they're gonna be fully entrenched into their masculinity, like a lot
Facts.
of times, right? So it's like, and they ain't gonna have no qualms about it. It's just like, I don't care what you think. This is what I am. Take it or leave. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, straight
You know
up.
who we ought to invite on this show? We need to invite Chloe Bailey to explain to us what she's seen in an African man. Let us.
Yeah. Because right now-
hey, but Chloe Betty,
Chloe be in the comments.
her situation was crazy though. Her
that's a
situation went
crazy
from
story.
I'm just out there to visit for Daddy December, but then
It turned into
I'm
January.
back. then she was wearing a Nigerian outfit
Yeah.
saying Niger on the
Niger
front. I
girl.
said, oh yeah, baby girl got it bad. Oh, she got it bad.
I hope she knows what she's getting herself into, though.
Well, they broke up.
What you?
Did they already?
Oh, y'all didn't hear the story?
Bro, I don't-
Oh, Nigerian blogs, man. You got to follow them, bro. It's something.
It was a breakup?
Well, so
Or were they were
allegedly, well, not even allegedly, because Burna Boy actually came out with his own story. But what happened was a girl came out and said Burna Boy promised her a Lamborghini.
I saw that, but I know they broke up because of that.
She unfollowed him.
Oh, wow.
Well, this when that Burna Boy.
Well, see, that's the thing, too, right? You know, a lot of times, and I know this part of the question that we're going to go into leading
gotta
into
deal with-
is you got to deal
you
with
gotta
the tricking,
Yes.
but you got to also deal with what comes with the tricking,
Yep.
too. So don't think you're the
Multiple-
only woman involved. You're going to have multiple,
Where's my
you're gonna have
camera?
multiple women.
I don't look. I'm looking right at you. What he is saying is false information. All African men don't cheat, nor do we all have
No,
a bunch of women.
it ain't called cheating.
I'm not saying that.
But there is some truth as to if you are not locked down with that man, and when I say locked down, and even, but if you're not locked down with that man, do not think he's only talking to you. Please,
Yep.
I don't care. I don't care if he bought you a Lamborghini. I don't care if he bought you an AP. I don't care.
A house.
Do not think that you're the only person though. If y'all have not verbally solidified that within conversation.
Facts.
Africans move like Elon Musk. He's African. I'm just saying what it is, man.
Well,
and it's acceptable.
It's
'cause-
so funny because even with the Chloe Bailey situation, when I saw some of those videos, I was like, oh yeah, she's like
the
you can
comments.
see-
We was already laughing.
Yeah, you could see in her eyes like she was in love, and for him, he's just like you just the
just
flavor
the-
of the month. Like that's how I saw it. No disrespect to Chloe, because I mean she's a beautiful girl, but I just saw the way I said, man, nah, the way he's moving and the way she's moving, two different. Like someone's into the other way more they are into the other person.
pretty sure she was
But
warned.
I think it's supposed. Well, that's me.
100%.
I think your woman has to be into you way more than you're supposed to
Right.
be into her. And I'm not saying it can be reciprocated, of course, but your girl has to be. I'm talking about head over heels in love with you, so for it to be balanced. So I get where she's coming from.
Stay there. See, in America, I've heard the other way, the opposite. I've heard that, right? Where it's like, at first, the girl is super into you when you're in the dating stage, but then when you get married, it's like it flips almost to where like the man becomes like, oh, I adore my wife, happy house, happy wife, happy house, all
bullshit
that stuff,
statement.
right?
A bullshit statement.
So exactly, which it should be happy spouse, happy house, right? Or happy wife, happy life. And so it almost flips when it comes in America when it comes to the marriage and stuff like that. But like you said, in other cultures, it's the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I've heard. I could be wrong. I don't want y'all attacking me in the comments.
it's
I could be
all
wrong,
opinion, man.
but it's just what I've heard. You know, so correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all tell me.
I don't know. That's all right. So we established that the reasoning, what we believe why women are attracted to African men. Now, I know we know it's about culture, and a big culture of ours that stands out amongst many cultures around the world is weddings. Our weddings are top notch. They are the upper echelon of what weddings should look like or should be, per my opinion. But I think that right there, I think every woman wants that African wedding too. Everybody wants to be in that dress. Everybody wants to have the head tie. Everybody wants to be sprayed with money. You understand?
The amount of time I get like people just in my DMs with a reel or a TikTok video showing like, man, I wish my wedding is like this. Like, it tells you everything you need to know. Is like we don't just have any kind of ordinary wedding. Our weddings are not like American people wedding. And no disrespect, I'm just speaking, but our weddings are way better than American people's wedding. You call it what it is.
Okay. Okay.
You call it what it is.
I know that- I
You
know
woke up
that's-
and chose violence
I know
today.
I know that's gonna piss people off.
Listen.
So I am not an expert on American weddings because I think I've only been to maybe one American wedding in my whole life, maybe two. I can't think of it right now, maybe two. But I know there's
I'ma tell you how it
there's
goes.
the church wedding and then there's the reception.
That's all it is. No, sorry to cut you off. The American wedding is very simple. You go to, what is it? I've been invited to American weddings. Not saying they're boring or anything. I mean, they're fun for what they are. But it's literally a church, a reception, and you go home.
What is it? What did the reception look like to you?
Put your little Usher songs on and you put your little Usher songs on, y'all dance. They play the little song, you get in your car, you put a little fireworks, you sparkle.
So I get where you're coming from, but I also think part of it is the people, right? So the people could create the vibe of the entire wedding, right? So it could be an American wedding that could be black, it could be super fun. Like I know my boy, he got married what year were we? 2023. I think it was like August, July, and that was one of the best weddings I've been to too. You know
What kind of wedding was it?
No, no,
It was just American
That
wedding.
ain't even
Just
my
a super-
question.
Just a super
We're not
American
saying it's
wedding.
not fun. What did you do besides?
No, yeah, you're right. As far as the ceremony was just the church part
That's
of it,
it.
and then the reception. But it's still fun. Now, are you saying is it different and unique? It's not. No, maybe not. I mean, you remember? I think
brother.
I sent you the post the other day, right? The Shrek wedding. I was like, come on, yo, what's going on? I had a Shrek themed wedding. But I think that
No,
different strokes for different
that's-
folks.
that's
Different strokes for different folks.
Them Disney weirdos.
We
but,
should
you
break
know,
it
that's
down
all-
how we have our
Adult
weddings.
Disney
though.
people are weirdest people. Oh, excuse me.
Like our weddings, Yoruba, Igbo, even the houses, like we have multiple days of our wedding. We don't just have one day and it's like be all. No. You start off with the introduction, and the introduction is like the party where you meet the other person, the bride's family. Everyone comes there. That's a party on itself. That's its own. That's not even a wedding. That's just the introduction. Then you have the actual wedding. If you're Muslim, they have like I think it's called Nikia, something like that, where you actually have like another party for that. And if it's a Christian, obviously you have your church wedding. The reception is a lot different. I mean, all that spray money, that's just one part of all those weddings. I mean, how many weddings you done been to, and the energy is different. Even if for an American, you've never been to an African wedding, you should probably come and check it out too. You would be shocked at like just how you would be very intrigued by the wedding. Like people out here spray money, and you're just like, I want to spray money too. It's exciting. You have another wedding after that too, if you feel like it, overseas.
Very true. Very true. No, when it comes to African weddings, I'm sorry, it's just.
Nothing-
What is
you
it?
can't-
You know, the bee's knees? Yeah, it's the bee's knees. Like it's the shit for sure. So that's something everybody needs to experience in some sort. Everybody that has an African Nigerian, especially Nigerian.
Indian weddings are a
Nigerian
lot of
wedding.
I was going to say
Indian
Indian
weddings-
weddings.
Indian
Gotta
weddings
give them
too.
credit. That's
Man.
that culture. Indian
Yeah, it's
weddings
that
is
culture,
different.
man.
For sure.
I've never been to an Indian wedding though.
So my boy Tyrone, I was in Dallas with him, and he got married to an Indian lady, and he was like, man, it was just so different. It was the culture. It was fun. It was something he's never experienced, and he said the outfits and everything like that was just amazing. Just their tradition, like his parents had a drape him in sort. I think he said that her parents had draped in some sort of gold and all kinds of different stuff, and it's just like stuff that you don't see in American weddings. But like, yeah, he said that, and he's a Black American from LA, and he was like, man, it was something he's never experienced, and it was amazing. So yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna jump around because that's what we on. We don't have no real topic. I'm gonna jump around topics real quick. So since we're talking about weddings, the thing that comes before a wedding though, the difference between, I can only speak on Nigerians, but I'm saying Africans, but Nigerians I know because I know very well. Bride price, something that we do. Some people don't understand. If someone can explain what that bride price is, as well as, do you think that's something that Americans frown upon, or they try to understand, or like what's your thoughts on it?
Again, it's just something that's been in our history. It's tradition. It's a way of courting your bride, and the way you court her is basically saying you're going to her family, and you're saying thank you for taking care of this woman who. It's like you can't just, in America you could just marry someone. No. In Africa it's different. I actually want something that you've developed, you've made into this woman, and my way of showing you that is I like to give you this, gifts. It could be money, it could be food, yams, a lot of goat, cows, you name it. It's basically saying, thank you for raising this woman who's really about to be my woman. But the way it works is, obviously, that's somebody you're gonna get married to, but the family can be like, nah, that's not enough. And then you're like, okay, I have 12 ships. Here you go. That's not enough. Because I've been to you go to all these weddings and it's like,
So it's a real negotiation.
it's a
for real,
negotiation where,
100%.
and you have your friends, men, who like, the Yoruba would say, dobale, you flat out on the ground, like, prostrate properly, all the way down. I want, then the husband is like, basically, I really want your woman. And then there's always a lady who has the mic who's always, the family is not, this is not enough. You have to do more. You put more money down. And basically, it's just to show that I really want this woman. I'm not just trying to take her from you. And introduction is very important to our culture because it's like, we're not just gonna give our daughter away. And you have to make it feel like, okay, you've come correct. It's really what it is. You've come correct. And because you've come correct, at some point during the introduction part, the family's like, okay, we've accepted your gifts.
Right.
And the gifts are not just like, it's not just going to the parents like of the bride. It's split amongst everyone. The family, it's split amongst everybody. Some people get this, some people get that. Even some money is donated or given. Those money are given. But again, it's just a culture thing. It's traditional. And for Yoruba people in our tribe, this is a must. You have to do that. That's just how it is. Tradition.
And you mentioned you said would Americans have a problem with that? Is that what you said? You're damn right we would. I mean, they go, oh, she's not for sale. Like that's probably gonna be their mindset. Like she's not for sale.
They don't need to understand what we do.
Put a price on it, like. But it's just like sometimes they gotta understand there's a lot of different cultures and a lot of different ways of doing things out there in the world. Sometimes I think some people, not all, some people live in a bubble and think that this is not right because it's done this way in a different country. No, this is what they do over there, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like in some of these other countries where women can't go outside wearing whatever they want to, right? And they may have an issue with over here, but over there that's just totally normal and they're okay with it. And we shouldn't judge them for that. People shouldn't judge other cultures for that type of behavior or type of stuff that they're doing over there in their culture because everybody's on the same page.
Would you implement that with your daughter or your son?
Um,
Or you're more so? I don't, because I know I have I've lived in Nigeria for a cool extended time. Tim has lived there, lived there. You yourself, you were born there, but you haven't. You weren't as an adult now and experienced that part of it. So how do you feel about that? Like, would you teach that to your children, or would you even implement, or would it be a thing like he just comes and be like, hey, I would love to marry your daughter? And
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it simple. Like, you come and just say you want to, especially by the time I have a kid and he's trying to get married, or whoever's trying to get married, whatever the case may be. I mean, who knows what the price of things may be? I'm not trying to put an extra burden on him to come give me a gift. If he just come talk to me like a man, and what I'm saying, and we click and whatever the case may be, then yeah, man.
Don't put a Will Smith move.
What was
Bad
it?
boy.
Oh.
No, I think the bride price, it's also another way to just solidify the agreement and just so the family the bride's family knows that you're coming, like you are able to provide to their daughter. So in American terms, yeah, they don't do that, but again, it's Americans' tradition is just different from our tradition.
But if you're a father, you should see that beforehand. Like, you shouldn't wait till you get to that point.
No, but that's not. It's not. It's just a thing we do.
No,
it's not like you are trying to prove
100%.
it.
But I'm saying, but you saying that like you got to see if he could provide. I'm saying like if whether that person does it or not, I'm gonna see that beforehand. Hey, yo, this is a bum.
Hope your daughter knows.
Yeah, like this guy's a bum. He's out of here.
But again, it's not also just for the parents.
Right.
I want you to also understand the introduction is a way for us to bring your entire family. Right. So this might be the first time your uncle is seeing your husband. This might be the first time that your extended family is seeing. This is just a part where the extended family members are coming together to see who you're trying to get married to. And then they all get a share of whatever you provide. But at the end of the day, it's just our tradition. It's how it's been for many, many years. I can't speak on how long it's been going on. We've just been doing this for a long time.
What about you? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts is I'm very I try to be traditional. I know trying to work the American system and how the American person moves didn't work out for me in many ways. So it seemed like the more I kept it home, it worked for me. So I am the type to, even if it isn't much, even a girl's American. So if that's the case, I will still go to her people and still be like, and still do the gesture of it, just so you can understand where I'm coming from the beginning. They might just be like, I'm like, just this is how my culture is. This is just how we are.
And you gotta explain that to her
And I have
to
to
tell her
explain
family.
it exactly so they can understand. So because I would like a traditional wedding. I would like a traditional wedding more than I would like an American side wedding. I think because it's there's a lot that goes into it.
I don't see the point of you in doing both. Why not just do the traditional wedding
But you know,
for
I've-
her people and stuff like that? Maybe, perhaps.
if they were to ask or of some sort, cool. But if they don't ask, or if that's not the case, then
Honestly,
it is what
I
it
mean,
is.
the weddings are still the same. I don't want people to think that we're saying that we don't still have the church wedding and the reception. It's still the same. But to her family, she has to also understand that you're not just marrying an American, a black American. You know, you're marrying someone from a different culture, and this is how it's done. And it's not just for Africans. It happens in Asia, happens in the Middle East. I mean, you've seen like South Africa, Saudi Arabian weddings too. Like it's
100%.
the same thing. Like it's
Yeah.
not just, but America itself, it's just. I don't even know what the American
Bro, you
culture
sound
is.
disgusted, man. You
No, no.
The look on your face, you look like you disgusted.
Maybe because I've been blessed. I'm blessed to be African. We're exposed to like how
Right.
it's supposed to be, and then you get older and your friends get married, and you're like, this is it. Like this is
Well,
it.
you know, it's still a beautiful thing. You know,
It's a beautiful
seeing them
thing.
get
Marriage is
married
always a
still
beautiful thing. We're just talking about the
Yeah.
difference between like how we do it and
Right,
how
no, 100%
the
the
Americans do
differences.
it. So if you're married into the American culture, absolutely, I would love to be married. I would love to, even if I'm not marrying someone who's from my culture, I would love to still have a traditional wedding
Mm-hmm.
because that's just how. You're married into my family. You're still gonna have that African.
And
Now
that's-
you're married into an
and
African
that's
household.
the part, and that's the part I want people to make clear of. Like, it's different. I know some men are with where they hyphenate their names and they still have their wife's name a part of it. I'm
doing
like,
that.
no, that doesn't work here. What it is that you marrying into my last name means that I'm not saying you're forgetting
Right.
your family. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is now our new family. It's not such and such hyphen such and such. No, this is our as a family.
You are one
new
of
last
us
name.
now.
So let me ask you this: if you have a girl, right, and she comes to you and she says, "Hey, I want to keep my last name on a hyphen," what would you do? Is that a deal
It's
breaker?
just not. It's a deal breaker, bro.
Deal breaker?
I'm
Deal
not
breaker?
gonna- I'm just
It,
not.
it would not be a deal breaker. I gotta understand the reason, the
Right.
why.
Right.
Like the why has, like if you're, for example, let's just throw out a name. If your last name is like a Kardashian or a Trump or whatever it is, and you feel like no, people respect our family.
It's a
I'm gonna take her
trumpet.
name.
I'm just no.
I have to take her name.
I'm gonna take her
I have
name.
to take her name.
Hey,
Or Bill Gates or something like,
Hey.
you know.
the homie was dating this, niece of a very popular, probably the best athletes of all time, and we're like, hey, it's okay to take her last name.
Why not? You know what I'm saying? Timmy Tyler Gates, you know, like
Hey, and I was like, no, if you knew who it was, I was like, yeah, 100%, take her last name.
I just
bruh.
found out. This is actually not trying to go off topic. I just found out Tiger Woods was dating the Trump, right?
Yeah, the Trump
ex-wife
ex-wife.
of Madonna,
Yeah.
but she never changed her last name.
100%.
And
Why would
I was
she do
like,
it?
she
Ever?
ain't about to call room service and say this is Vanessa, whatever her last name is.
Yeah.
No, this is Vanessa Trump.
And there's not a lot of Trumps out there.
Because it holds
Exactly.
weight, of course.
So it's a family
Yeah.
thing. If you have to keep your last name,
Right.
then I would understand
If
that.
you hear Trumps, Musk, you know
there
what
are
I'm saying?
certain names,
There's certain
that,
names,
that
it's not
just
a lot.
that hold a
Right.
lot of weight, like the
Right.
Kardashian, like
Right.
Kim Kardashian West. You know, she had to keep her last name. He has to understand that that's what it is. Like, it's just how it is. So I don't have a problem
So
with it.
I hear what
He
you.
might.
Yeah,
I
hear what
wouldn't
you're
have a problem either. It's not gonna. I mean, if you fill in every bucket, I'm not gonna say something like that.
You're gonna have to
like,
have my
I'm
last
gonna walk
name,
away
but,
from it.
But I think I think those are conversations that are had before you even get to that point anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
You understand and you know your girl enough to where you're like, this is not even going to be.
How
a trouble.
early in the conversation though? Because what if you've been dating her for X amount of months, or when you really she clicks every
I don't
other
give-
bucket?
Bro, I don't give a shit
How do you
about
think Kim
that. The co-part
Kardashian's
is-
conversation went with Kanye West? Sometimes it's just not even it's just
It just it is what it is.
it
I'm
is what it
keeping
is.
it.
I'm keeping my last name.
Well, but
they're
on
a
that
little
level
different.
too, though, they're different. There's
They're a little
celebrities.
different,
There's
though.
like
There's- there
billionaires.
is
Like,
levels.
Forget about
They're
the
different.
statue. The point is, some people's last name, you might. Let's not even talk about celebrities. If you have a last name and you feel like you want to honor your father who might have passed away, whatever
Right.
it is, and you want to keep a lineage.
Yeah.
Because, for example, my last name is very unique to the point that there might not be a lot of people with that last name.
Right.
So my sister's telling her husband, yo, my last name is really not a lot of us. I would
Right.
like to keep that going because I'm the only daughter
Right.
of this last name, and I'm the last person.
All right.
I want to keep it going. He got to understand that. I mean,
But
Mexicans have like 2 last names.
They do, but at some point the last name still dies somewhere.
No,
and
Mexicans don't.
not in a
They have their mother's name,
disrespectful
and they have
way
their
either.
father's name. It can even be a Garcia.
I'm saying, but at some point, being a daughter, if we're just talking about culture-wise, though, at some point it will stop, because so you telling me your sons are gonna have the double last name too?
It would stop because of people like you.
But I'm like, so your sons will
Hard-headed.
You ain't doing that.
No, sir.
So will they have that? So your sons will have the same double last name and so on and so on.
Your
If
son can
if
decide what he want to
if
do.
True, he can even change it.
If
if
my
he
mama
wanted to.
Kim Kardashian, shit.
Well, y'all
wanna
y'all
keep it.
talking too big. Though.
No,
No,
I'm
we
not
just
even
fucking
talking.
give an
For
example
me,
of-
I'm just saying
give an
it.
example.
I'm not going to let that deter. Like
Yeah.
I'm just not going to let that. Oh no, you can't do that. I'm just going to.
I think those are conversations that you have a lot early, and I think those are, even if it was an issue, if it was that big of a problem, I think she was a problem to begin with a long time ago anyway. So it's a good possibility. I'm not saying that's the case, but
Another family that keeps their last name is John F. Kennedy. All his daughters are Kennedy something with their last name. Kennedy something.
once again, the
But
status.
No, but I'm saying that's because that's what we know. But I'm saying it happens. We just don't know these people. That's why I'm
True.
using different
True,
types
true,
I
of
think,
names.
but I also think that nowadays it's getting more and more common, right?
Yeah.
Like
But-
I was listening to Joe Budden's podcast the other day, and Zoe Zandana, the actress from
Yeah, that's
she
her-
plays
her dad's
Avatar.
last- yeah.
Her husband has her last name.
That's crazy work.
I was like, that's
But-
wild.
That's
What?
crazy work.
That's
No-
wild.
no
I
disrespect.
don't care if she
Crazy
making
work.
more money. That's
I ain't
wild
doing
to
that.
me.
But no disrespect to him.
And it's
though.
not hyphenated.
She is more masculine than her husband. Yes or
Oh, I never seen her.
Now you
husband.
now
I
you
never-
trying to
I
start.
never seen
We're
her.
not going there.
But I'm just saying.
I don't know.
But that can't be the reason why. I don't know. Do you know why he changed his last name to her last name? Also, it's a lot of paperwork to
I
go
think
through.
I know he's European or something like
It's
that.
a lot of paperwork. Ain't it the same paperwork she would have done if you switched it over?
Well,
Now when you
sh-
get married, you file. I mean, I get what you're saying, but for you
Yeah.
to change your last name,
I see why she's gonna keep hers because of who she
Who
is.
she is, of course.
But me taking your last name, and I don't think it's hyphenated. I think it's just like whatever,
just took it.
George Sandana or whatever. And I think that's just what it is.
But the thing about it, what's
Yeah.
crazy is that a lot of people are trying to reinvent the wheel, though.
Right.
A lot of people are just.
It's a
like,
different times,
I just
man.
it's a
want-
different
yeah,
time, man. Honestly,
Literally.
it's a different time. People. I feel like, and I'm a big advocate for changing things. Like there's some things, even in the Constitution of America, where it's like, bro, we still doing stuff from like 1776. Like, bro, we're
Right.
in 2025.
Right.
We should not
Right.
keep doing the same
like
thing.
like the pledge did they end the Pledge of Allegiance or something like that? I haven't been in school so long, but like even the Pledge of Allegiance, like there's certain things, and no, not the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star Spangled Banner, right, where they had to like take parts out of it, and like some people were like, nah, we know what the original song said. I'm not singing any of it because of what it originally said. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you said, it's just a
Some things you
different
got-
times where people are
sometimes-
becoming more aware.
Some things you can be
Yeah.
conservative because that's just
Right.
how your history is. But there's some things you just gotta.
Yeah, but sometimes you can be too woke where that shit.
No,
is
100%.
Where that shit is even too.
Hey,
it's
listen.
fucking annoying.
Listen, living in LA, a very progressive city, people are there's a point where it's like, okay, I just want to listen. I just want to chill. I just want to make
Facts.
money, put my head down,
Peace.
peace.
You ain't too woke.
Go. I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. I want some of the same things you do, but there's some things like, hey, sometimes you just want to hey, I want to make money, support, whoever I'm supporting, my family, whatever the case may be, and going on with my business. I can't fight everybody's battles.
I'm
I think that
American
some
by
people think
birth,
that.
But I'm not arguing. I'm not having y'all's battles does not relate to my battle. Like I just some battles Americans have that I'm just not.
So
gonna
you
put
separate.
myself into.
So you separate yourself from the two.
because I was born here. Don't mean I'm.
Really?
I hate to say I'm like even when people are like, are you black or
I
African
feel,
American?
I feel him. No,
No,
I get what you're saying.
Since the topic's going there, we can go there. But
Yeah,
I
let's
know
go
what you're
there.
saying,
Let's
though.
go there.
Yes, I'm American, but I'm not American. I was just born in America.
Yes,
I didn't
but-
even grow up in America.
But you look like an American.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think it's
I look like an American because there's black people that were
Tim,
snatched up.
bam. You said it right there because you're at the end of the day you're black. So whether
yeah,
if
that's
I'm an
100%.
Asian or Hispanic, whatever I see, I'm not gonna know. Oh yeah, he's African. No, he's gonna see you black. So their struggle in or what they got
It's
going
still
on over
our
here.
struggles at some-
It's
But I
still
ain't
our
gotta carry your
struggles.
battles in America.
I'm not saying you have to carry the battles,
Right.
But I'm not saying you have to do it. You don't gotta do nothing but pay taxes and die. That's all you got to do in this
That's
world.
the American story. That's the
Right.
American.
That's all you got to do. But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, their struggle is still your struggle because they still see you as a black man in America, period.
No, I agree with you. But if I decide to tell you, I'm not saying I don't vote, but if I say I don't want to vote because I don't care who y'all elect as a
There's
president.
a lot of black Americans who don't vote.
That's
They
what I'm
don't
saying.
care. Yeah.
I don't care. And then there's some people who tell you, well, the history of voting in America, black people have to fight. That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
That's not my battle.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up here, so my battle as an African man is not slavery.
Yeah, I get what
We
you're
were
saying.
colonized.
I see
I was
what
not
you're
a
saying.
slave.
I get what you're saying.
It's different.
I get what you're saying.
I see what you're saying, like 100%. I've always, and this has always been my slight with Africans. Because when my parents came here, however, when they got here, we didn't move to Carson like a bunch of Nigerians did and have it made. No, I was still born and I was still raised in Compton. I still seen all that. I was around hood kids. I was around all the kids. These are my people.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's hard for me to separate myself from. So even though yes, I'm African, we have our issues. They have their issues. I still feel for what they got going on because it's hard for me to not, because I'm like, bro, when y'all was getting it, I was getting it the same way. They didn't separate. They was just like, oh, he's Nigerian. No, you move. Nah, bro.
To his point, again, we grew up out here. So when my black homies was having race riots in high school, guess who was right there with them? It wasn't like you said, oh no, you're Nigerian, we're gonna leave you alone. Nah, bro, I gotta fight too. We all won. So these are my brothers still at the end of the day. Like I grew up with them, I hung out with them every day. I've been to their houses, they've been to my houses. I see them as my brothers still. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Because, when I got home, it was, different within the household. But like when I was outside, bro, I was a black man. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to the
Absolutely.
music.
You perceive
I was watching the
everybody as a black
sports.
man.
I was influenced by the athletes and the rappers to a young guy. I thought I was in Dipset when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? G-Unit, all that. So I saw them as my brothers still. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I see these guys' struggles, and they still my struggles too. Cause I see what they're going through. I'm going through the same thing they're going through.
That's where the differences is, and that's where, and I'm not gonna say all, but everybody they're going to understand what I'm about to say. And I'm not saying all, but there's a percentage of Africans that completely separate themselves from black Americans. Then there's a bunch of black Americans that separate themselves fully from Africans.
Yep.
Now there's this big divide that doesn't need to be there at all. You understand? And it's like, if we can just erase that invisible line between us, bro, we literally go through the exact same issue. But people will literally act, and I'm gonna say African people will literally act like they are better than some American people. And there's American people, for some goofy reason, and I don't understand why, they feel like they're better than Africa. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
It's crazy you say that because, again, growing up where I grew up, I grew up more in the suburbs, so there wasn't really any Africans. Like I was probably one or two, Africans in the city, right? I didn't realize the divide until, what's been going on in our comment section over the last 4 months, 5. What was that? What was that episode filmed? Like October? 4 or 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, whatever. Oh. And I didn't realize how much there's a lot of black Americans that hate Africans. Like they are getting nasty in the comments. Yep. Very nasty in the comments. I'm like, oh wow, this is new to me, bro. Because like again,
it's a big divide.
It's a huge divide because out here, at least in the West Coast, we more together than apparently. So I remember a couple months back, I was actually at your party. You had like a gathering or whatever. No, it was before that. I forgot whose gathering it was, but we was playing game night at your rooftop and stuff like that. And I met somebody, and she spent some time in New York, and she saw that, and she said, I just know that, and she's a black American. She said, I just know that, the Africans in New York, and they hated us, and we hated them, and they put me through so much, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry you feel that way, sweetheart, but I have no feeling like that at all in my bone. Like, I don't see you as lower than me at all. Like, that's just me. I can speak to me. But I said that in every single race and culture, there's gonna be good people and bad people. There's gonna be racist people, not racist people. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be prejudiced people. It's all it don't have to, so you can't just generalize everybody, black or just Africans, of being that way. You know what I'm saying? Because not all of us are the same.
And I can tell you, it was instilled in me that even my parents were racist towards black people. Mm-hmm. Like, I still remember growing up, and it's like, even they still tell us, like, don't bring home no akata, which means don't bring home, as
Straight
an African
cat.
guy, don't bring
Straight
home any
cat.
black person. You know, like we're not like them.
Right.
They're not like us.
Right.
Like, and there's a stereotype with black people. And it's crazy as an African talking about black people is kind of the same way white people
Yeah. 100%.
look at black people.
Exactly.
It's sometimes the same way Africans look at black
But
people.
a lot of that is media driven, though. A lot of that's media driven.
Well,
too.
I don't want to say it's media driven only because
It's not
you
not
see
only.
you see
Not
some
only.
black people,
Yeah.
and it's just not the way some Africans act. Like we were talking about, why do some people love African men? It's because of a certain way we hold ourselves.
All right.
And there's some stereotypes about African American men that you're like, you move in, you move in a different way. Like
Right.
you act different, you talk different, you just different. We don't like that. So there's always like that, we're Africans. And they tell you, don't be like these American black men. Don't, you know, and we could talk about some of the stereotype.
Yeah.
Like some of the things that they feel like black people do, and we're like, don't be like that. Again, you're right, it's media driven.
It is. It is media driven.
That's
for
probably
sure.
one of the biggest.
Because again, let me ask you this: as an African man, is every Nigerian good?
No.
Exactly. So again, but they're not gonna probably they're gonna I say this: black folks are gonna think Africans are just poor, dirty, right? And then we're gonna think they're violent, and that's all what the media shows. But they don't show the good black folks and the good, they don't show the good of each. They don't show the beautiful parts of Nigeria
Say
and
what
Africa
you want
and
to
all
say
that.
about African men. The majority of African men are very respectful.
Very.
The majority of African men are educated. The majority of African men are just hard workers, driven people. Then you look at the stereotype and you say the majority of African black people are just not respectful the same way we call respect. So when we're looking at you, you're saying like, can you compare it? No, our stereotype is not like that.
So, all right. So, I think the issue is it's that first perception. You know how when you walk into a building, it's that first interaction you have. So when someone's coming from Nigeria to out here, what is that first interaction you're having with that black American person dictates a lot of things.
Yeah,
a lot. The crazy part is, and you probably heard it from your fathers back in the day, but when they came out here, it wasn't as bad. A lot of them had an amazing college time, but it got to a point back in the 70s and back in the 80s, if you remember, a lot of African men were dating American women, and they were dying. They were getting killed, poisoned. They were getting set up, life insurance. It's a big story behind it. So they had this perception, and then of course dealing with how we were having conversations about the hierarchy or this amazing thing of dating African men. Now, when I'm dating this American woman, she's dating me. Guess who she's telling me all the bad shit about? That black American
The
dude.
brother.
That's true.
She's telling me all the bad stuff about him, and I'm taking it in, and I'm feeding this information to the next dude. And now we have this perception of, oh, that dude is bad, that dude is bad. And it's just like, that's truly not the case. Guaranteed there are bad apples. Yes, there is. But it's not as how people are making it seem sometimes.
Right. And you said something interesting before you started speaking, Tim. You said something about the black Americans are not respectful, or at least what we dignified as being
Absolutely,
respectful. Is that, but that's America. That's not just blacks, that's America. Little Timmy, fuck you, mom.
That is America. You're right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But we're not looking at. But
so I think
Africans don't look at.
exactly. But why is that? Why are we harder on our own
Facts.
than anybody else?
That's colonization.
That's exactly.
That's a
Okay,
slave
we're gonna
colonization
give
mentality.
the white, no disrespect to white folks. I love everybody, right? We're gonna give them a pass, but we're not gonna give the black person a pass.
And I'll
for
tell you
the
why.
disrespect.
Because some of them are actually okay with white people.
Exactly. That's the point I'm
That's
making.
the
But listen,
colonization part.
Because the white people are more respectful. They're not like the stereotype is not.
Says who?
No, but listen,
Says who? Because like I just said, little
but
Timmy,
we're
fuck
talking
you,
about
mom.
what they're. but we're talking about how they see white folks and how they see black people. White people have great jobs. They provide for their family. Things are going well.
Okay.
And then they stereotype. And again, I'm not saying this is my
Okay, I can hear what you're saying.
perception.
I hear what
They
you're
look
saying.
at white folks differently, and then you look at black people.
Right.
Again, I don't care if it's media or not. They look at them a lot different. maybe lazy, not respectful on the streets.
Because they don't
Understand why.
understand their struggle. Though.
Yep.
That's the difference.
They don't
The difference
understand
is
why
they
they're in
don't
the position.
understand. They're like, because the thing about it is, your father, my father, your father got to this country, and he immediately was just like, I got to get that education. Y'all hear it? We hear it every day. I got to get that education. They became lawyers, doctors, engineers, nurses, whatever you wanted
most
to
of
be.
their friends
and they
are
was just
white.
like, hold on, how can? And I've heard it all the time. How can a kid from the village, the trees, the jungle with the lions, as you say it, how am I able to make it to this country and I made it? But yet you were in this country and you didn't make it. That's how they see it though. They're like, no, hold on. Like, it's the problem is, and I know they'll kill me for this, and I'm just, but there's some truth to it. The problem is there's too much emphasis on blaming the white man. Leave that shit. I get it. I understand what you mean wholeheartedly. But at some time, when you keep thinking and keep blaming the white man, you start to lose focus and you can't get to that destination.
You start creating visual boundaries.
You're like, I can't do it because of the white. You be like, hold on, bro, this is a HBCU. There's no black. There's no white. There's all black people that runs this. No, you can make it, but in your head, you have told yourself, I can't do it, and that's a problem, especially in the post that's getting all the that's gone viral, you know. So I'm like, yo, all the people that are speaking negative, if you noticed, they were all uneducated and they look and perceived to not be doing well in life.
Nah. Some of them been dusty, bro. I saw your. I know this dude commented the other day, and I was like, he said, "You got something there to call anybody dusty." And I want this picture, nigga. I started crying, bro. I started crying, but. I mean, again, I just don't want us to think that, and I think that sometimes at the end of the day, Africans are harder on black folks than they are white folks, and that's the colonization part. I remember my uncle was even telling me, man, when he said, man, Nigeria still today, before they make any major decisions, they get on the phone with British, the British.
Yeah, in England, because of colonization.
Exactly, because of colonization. And I'm like, exactly. So to them, they still hold them up here. And it's the same out here. So it's like, do you mention like, oh, well, the white guy has all the best, the best jobs and all this stuff. Yeah. But I say this, if you're going to be in a country, at least learn a little bit of the history behind it. Why do they have the best jobs? Why are they institutional racism that's been put into place? Now, granted, you said you started to put borders, invisible borders inside, but that's still part of the reason, right? They had a 400-year head start on everybody.
Some of this stuff is so traumatized, so deep. It's in their soul. Like they can't help it. Like they want to get over it, but the pain is so deep, bro. You have to show some type of sympathy towards them.
And they're the ones that don't, they don't go to therapy. I know there's been a major push, but they're not going to therapy like they should to kind of get around those things that is hindering their growth.
And that's kind of why we talk about our struggles a lot different from our counterparts in America, because we just had Serge.
What counterparts? You mean black American counterparts?
My God,
let's specify that.
Man,
we got to clarify.
Destroying us about counterparts.
Can you mention what counterparts you're talking about? Because the definition of counterpart is holding the same. You hold the same level as somebody else. And in Nigeria, we're at the tops. We're equivalent to.
When I say the counterpart,
okay,
I'm talking about those that have dealt with colonization. Okay. And those that have dealt with slavery.
Okay.
So however you want to look at it. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is, our struggle might be different because we still feel like we're still seeing some of these things happen, and our struggle to even get to America is a lot different. Whereas slavery happened how long ago?
Sometime.
A long time ago.
400.
But there was still Jim Crow. There's still a lot of stuff after slavery though.
Black Wall Street.
Jim Crow was in the 60s, bro. That's not that long ago. 60 years ago, like some of our parents and grandparents were still alive and were affected by it. And that's not to mention the red line. That's not to mention the crack epidemic in the 80s. There's a lot of things. So you can't just say it was slavery, because after slavery, there's still 150 more years of this racism that was put upon these people. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think Africans got to be more sympathetic to the struggle, because right now it's just like, nah, man, we got over here, we did. But yeah, you didn't have to deal with all that stuff. You came over here and you just knew, let me just get an education and go on about my business.
And I do want to give credit to some African Americans who actually respect Africa, like Africans.
Yeah,
like
100%.
there's a lot of people who are advocates. Like some people even go back to Africa and want to live there and be entrenched in that soil and actually feel like they're part of
Khalees,
us.
fine ass Khalees. Oh man, he's out there living it up.
Dr. Umar's Ghanaian now, he's African. Like there's some, it's just an example.
Yeah.
There's some people who actually feel like they want to return home
Right.
and feel like they are, because at the end of the day, we all black, like you said. Like
Right.
we shouldn't be using terms like our counterparts. No,
Right.
we all one.
Right.
We're just one color. We're like, this is us.
So then that's the mindset you should have when you walk outside. Is I'm still black at the end of the day.
Oh, I
struggle
have that mindset. Nah,
Okay.
you can't. You gotta tell that to my mama, my dad. Like
Yeah.
somebody.
Nah, they ain't. You ain't changing their mind.
You try your best. to
They
try to
stuck
tell
on
them
that. They stuck on that. Yeah. Nah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, it's crazy. I just never seen so much divide in the comment sections. Like I said, this is new territory for me, and I'm like, wow, y'all really hate us.
It's new to you, but it's
not new to
never
some
been
people,
new. It's
yeah.
just we don't talk about it
Well,
enough.
no, it's new here because again, I say in the West Coast it's a little bit different, like compared
Facts.
to Atlanta and probably New York and the DMV area, where there's a big, large communities of
Yeah,
Africans, right?
exactly.
And there's probably some sort of territory struggle, you know what I'm saying? But out here there's not that much. It's a small pocket, but like DMV, it's all over DMV. It's all over Atlanta. It's all over, so that's why it's a little bit different. Like I didn't experience it out here at all.
So all right, so that's a good little segment right there for real. That for sure had to be touched on, and I like how it just did it naturally on its own. Okay, so since we're here and we got a couple more minutes, let's talk about the idea or what you know of dating a different culture,
Race?
different race, like how do you guys feel about that? I know how we were told. I don't think nobody's dated or married a Nigerian here, so it's but how do you feel about that? Because I know I was told to always no, you gotta bring home a Nigerian woman, bring home a Nigerian woman.
Okay, let me
and that
ask you
just
this.
wasn't something I was.
Why aren't you dating a Nigerian? Why wouldn't you date a Nigerian?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
No, I ain't saying that. I'm saying that. Bro, this be the last day of this podcast, motherfucker.
I would chime into that because I think that you're a product of your environment. You live like if I lived in India, I would probably for sure want to
Date
date with
an
an
Indian,
Indian just
yeah.
because
It's
I'm
not
in
allowed out
that
here.
environment. So being in America or even in the UK, you live in a place where you have different cultures, different people, races. Now, the person you might end up liking might not be from your culture. And based on, they might also like you because they enjoy that you're not one of, like, you're just a different person. So there's this thing, like, even so, you've seen weddings where it's like, you've been seeing a lot of them, where it's like an African man with a white woman or an Indian lady or something like that.
shit.
Even African people marrying black people, they're not the same culture, but you still do it, right?
Right.
Because that's just who you vibe with, that's
Right.
who you're with. But if I was in Nigeria, best believe I would be marrying a Nigerian woman.
Facts.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's just about the product of your environment. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if I grew up in, no disrespect to anybody, if I grew up in South Orange County or something, bro, I'm probably gonna be dating a white woman or something or a Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like if I grew,
Yep.
I'm not gonna be dressed like this. I'm not gonna be talking like this. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be moving the way I'm moving
Facts.
because of the environment in which I grew
Exactly.
up in.
Yep.
But because of where I grew up in, even I'll give you an example. In high school, I went to high school with a lot of Hispanics. Guess what I was dating? I dated some Hispanic girls in high school, right? Got to college and I'm like, oh, it's a beautiful black woman here. Ain't turned back since. Ever since I got exposed to that, I haven't turned my head back to anything else
I went
besides
to a
black
college
women.
called Tech State University. We probably had 500 black people out of 30,000 people. What do you think was? What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think I was looking at every day?
And that's hey. So let me touch on that real quick. I'm gonna go deep into that. So when people ask why these ball players and with some of these white girls or
went to
whatever,
school
they
in-
went to school in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And that's all they had.
Kentucky.
That ain't the only reason, but
That's not the only reason, but that's a big part
That's
of it.
one of the reasons. That's
Yeah.
absolutely. We're
It's a
not
big
saying that's
part
the
of
only
it.
reason.
That is the reason.
And she probably held them down since college.
Parents of
When they were
college in Kansas
broke.
City.
When they were broke. You know what I'm saying? Pops probably held them
that's
down.
a whole different topic.
Whole
That's what I'm
different
saying.
topic.
That's
We
why
gotta
I
have a
said
topic
that's
on
not the
that.
only thing, but
Yeah.
that topic can go deep into a whole
Yeah.
nother thing.
Adesanya, right? He was I don't want to say married, but he was dating this
was
lady
dating a girl.
from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
And you wonder why, right? He's Nigerian that grew up in
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
And
You
he's
think
different.
he's going to see a lot of?
Adesanya's different.
And you
He's
think
different.
he's just seen a bunch of Nigerian women
Right.
there? It's not the same.
He's probably seen Polynesian or
Everything.
Samoans and
absolutely.
whites, and
Polynesian,
white
yeah.
folks. Yeah.
So okay, so the game.
I mean, Barack
the game
Obama's
has
dad.
changed.
Sorry to cut you off. Married a lady from Hawaii.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Was he stationed out there or something like that?
He went
or-
to school
Yeah,
with
gotcha.
Obama's mama.
Right.
But that was in America.
Yeah.
You know, and then went back to Kenya and did what? Married a bunch, like he married a Kenyan woman in Kenya.
Yeah.
I think just where you're at. That's
Yeah.
really what it dictates
Yep.
who you really fall in love
Yep.
with.
So
Facts.
we will blame our parents.
Our
was your
parents.
fault.
Let's
You
talk
wanted
about
us to
our
marry
parents.
Nigerian women.
You should have moved us to
Should've moved our
DMV
asses back there.
or
Let's
moved us
talk-
to DMV or
Let's talk
something.
about our parents. Our parents are like, bring home a Nigerian woman. Well, our same parents also brought us over here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's like, well, if you wanted
Especially
me
in
to marry a
California,
Nigerian
where
woman,
it's like a handful of them.
you should have kept me in my black ass
Yeah.
back where I was.
Facts.
So, you know, yeah, they can say all that, but I think a lot of African people have moved on past that whole.
Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, as
I don't
you-
even think
different
it's
generations, too.
It's
Three
that
black
big of a
men, they
thing
just want you to
anymore.
get married. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, when are you getting married? We got to just
Yep.
start having children.
Facts.
You know, they just ready for you to start life.
No, that's for sure. It's the game has changed. I don't think it's as harsh as it used to be because the game was harsh before to the point where aunts were just like, "Yo, hey, every time they see you, I got somebody for you. Hey, I
Come
got
to my
somebody
church.
for you."
Come to
I'm
my
like,
church.
Come on,
Come on, man.
Somebody
leave me
for
alone.
you. Come to the Redeemed
Leave me
Christian Church
alone.
of God.
You gotta make up and say I got a girlfriend. Leave me alone, bro. I
Don't stop nobody.
don't introduce me to nobody. I don't play that matchmaker stuff. Leave me alone, yo.
Have somebody for you. They always do.
Always do. Come over there.
Back home in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm like, what you want me to do with a lady in Nigeria? You can't call each other every time. What, 12 a.m. in the morning? When
Crazy.
she waking up? Yeah.
They crazy.
Now we
man.
passed that.
They
But it
crazy.
still happens. So my uncle married someone who was actually, that he was doing long distance with.
Is your
in
uncle,
Nigeria.
where's he live?
Lived in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
My uncle was married to an American woman, a black lady.
Uh-huh.
Things didn't work out. And they're like, see? That's why we said she took half, which is the
Yeah.
American way. She took
American
half.
way.
And my grandma was like, I told you, if you just married a Nigerian woman back in Nigeria, half of your properties, you know,
Yeah.
he had to give up his houses, his cars, all that.
yeah.
But that's the American wife. That's the American way. So that's why they kind of encourage us to not date.
Man, kind of like how
Americans.
Iman Shumpert got just
Oh, he
destroyed.
got destroyed.
Oh my
I
gosh.
never even
That's
heard
the American way, man.
The part where it said she got 60%. I said, bro, it didn't even split down the middle.
No, here's the thing. I guess he got, some people are trying to justify, he
Don't
cheated.
justify it regardless.
There's no justification
You
for that.
taking, I worked hard for this.
I'm like, she's probably the one who popped off the freak offs. Because she's the one who likes girls too. She's the one who started all the freak offs and all that. Once you start letting that stuff into your bedroom, sometimes that can go left.
Allegedly.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
you dove deep
Alleged-
right into that one. I don't know
allegedly.
that one, but I ain't read the.
Before we don't have a podcast,
She was
allegedly.
on.
No, I hear you,
She
but I'm
was
saying I didn't
on.
know.
She was on Breakfast Club talking about how they be
Nah,
taking
yep.
them down together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
but some
She
people
was
be
more
just-
into it than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people destroying these houses. Like, if you get divorced in Nigeria, like, there's no splitting nothing.
Just leave with what you came
You
with.
leave
and
what
that's
you
it.
came with. There ain't no paperwork to say we're done and you gonna take my house. No, it's mine. It's not yours. Yeah, I take care of my kids, but you ain't taking my prop. Like,
Right.
Because we have kids together, don't mean
Yeah, it's wild. It's
That's
wild.
why-
And that's
that's
why I
why-
don't understand why that's the one thing, like, they never look at. The laws, they never look at that.
Well,
Child
they're-
support.
They're looking
none
at
of
it
that.
now, though.
Sure. I'll
they're
hold my
looking
breath.
at it, but it will never go through. You know
It's
why?
not
Because
gonna
you know
go
who takes
through.
half of it. You talking about Iman Shumpert and what she got. The lawyer is the one that's the winner here.
Yeah.
The lawyer won for just being involved. So who's going to change the law?
The lawyers are
The
not gonna
lawyers?
change the law.
Do you think they're going to
Yeah.
change that? Just so they can take less and help
Yeah.
you out?
Bro, you'll be shocked, bro. The law's gonna change. It's not gonna stop people from getting divorced. It's just gonna stop from you leaving me basically renderously broke at this point. So because have you ever seen a man's eyes after a divorce, bro? And after it's been
Tyrese?
finalized, bro, it's like he doesn't even have a
See
soul
Tyrese
anymore.
crying the Breakfast Club, like,
Yeah.
or whatever. Was it
It's just
Instagram?
done.
The crazy thing is he put in this. I guess he put into the prenup about like a cheating clause or whatever in the prenup. I'm like, bro, you know how you moving around.
Yeah, the prenup. And the prenup, he had that no cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he got himself.
And listen, if you and your girl taking girls down together, bro, you might as well just do that. Like, you still getting what you getting.
Yeah, but she gonna record that in her mind and say, "This is what happened."
Man, my thing is, marry the person that can accept you for you in its totality. to a certain extent. I'm not saying don't grow. Please grow.
Right.
And at some point, because that'd be the problem, people be grown, but they don't grow together. And then at some point, now you guys are on two different roads, and now you guys are fighting. But 2 months ago, y'all was hugging each other,
Man.
loving, and you just have to sit back and be like, damn,
social
man,
media,
like,
man,
this is
There's
crazy.
no winner here. The biggest loser is the kids. If you have kids, those are the
100%.
biggest losers because
100%.
the kids are divided also.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna take half of his stuff, but the kid is just like,
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. Not a good situation. But
Not at all.
but yeah, I mean,
good episode.
but back to, circle back to our topic, dating Nigerian women. I mean, I've never dated one. I think I'm a married black woman, not a. I probably don't see myself with a Nigerian woman.
Oh, no,
I have
just-
my reasons behind
Don't
it.
say that.
You gotta say
he's
why.
Not, he's not. No.
No. Let him
It's a
speak up.
possibility he might.
I don't see
We're just
myself.
gonna leave the-
I don't think that's gonna happen.
You know.
Can I ask you
Because
something?
one,
Can I ask you
a
something?
lot of it is the environment.
Can I ask you
There's not a
something?
lot of hold on. There's
Can I
not a
ask you
lot out
something?
here
That's
though.
true.
What if,
But there's
what
not.
if
But
the
there's
black lady you're talking about is also just like yourself, who is Nigerian, but she is just all she's ever known was America.
but-
She's
but what I'm
American.
saying is-
'Cause are you saying you're not gonna date her because she's even
No.
Nigerian?
What I'm saying is, the chances are that happening where I live
Right. I
is
hear
slim.
I hear what you mean.
It's slim. I live in California. Now, if I live in the DMV or Atlanta or some of these
sure,
places
yeah.
with a
It
lot,
It ain't
You're
a
gonna-
lot of
you're gonna
people
be-
say there's a
you're
lot of
gonna be in
African
groups.
women in California. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really.
It is.
It's not.
Nah, bro. It